Welcome to Well-Traveled Life with Jonathan and Jennifer. Today we're talking about a very nice town in Scotland.
Invergordon.
We've been there a couple times. First time we went by ship.
It is the port for Inverness. So if you are traveling by cruise ship to Inverness, you will stop at Invergordon.
Right. And that first trip we just kind of walked around town. You'll see that in pictures. I think it was a quiet day. It may have actually been a Sunday. There's probably more to do than we were able to experience that day. But
absolutely.
I remember, and I think it's going to be in some of our pictures, there are very cute painted murals on many of the walls.
Yeah.
And I think I'm pictured in a couple of those. The second time we went to Invergordon, we were actually on our trip.
The last video that we did was with Karin in Inverness and her slow food Airbnb experience, and then we spent the day doing history around.
We went to some castles and did some things.
So we were on the NC 500, and this really did feel like the beginning of the NC 500 for us. We'd spent the day in Inverness, we had kind of checked in and done the beginning of the NC 500, and Invergordon was our first stop. And it's going to sound crazy because Invergordon is like 20 minutes outside of Inverness, so we didn't get very far on the NC 500. But that's really the key to the NC 500. You are there for the trip, not to try and get miles done in a day. There's so much to see along the way. It's scenic, and in this part there's a whole lot to do. So we did a day of history, and then we enjoyed touring Kincraig Castle and decided we should stay at a castle. And so you will see we went to Kincraig Castle for the night.
And that was absolutely gorgeous. Just kind of a mini resort, beautiful rooms, beautiful dining room. It kind of, to me, it felt maybe a little bit like a country club. Beautiful grounds, beautiful hotel, dining room, and that was really special. It
was really special, and again, it was sort of that idea that you're getting to stay at an old country house, or a castle, if you will, and we had an amazing meal there. They have both a bar and a restaurant, and the restaurant serves breakfast and dinner, and I think it does like a Sunday roast lunch. And they have afternoon high tea, and the bar had really great whiskeys and beers.
Yeah.
And they have a really lovely, as Jonathan said, a really pretty outdoor area. The castle is nestled amidst like 10 acres, so you really have this feeling of space. And you're looking out over the Cromarty Firth, and in the distance you can see the Black Isle. So
it's impressive.
What I had here that I fell in love with, I had a salad that was magnificent. It had goat's cheese and just a bunch of local produce, and it was just, and I know when I say a goat's cheese salad, big deal, but I'm telling you, this salad stuck with me for the rest of the trip.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I had fish and chips. Which is a good bet just about every stop in Scotland. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this week's video.
If you've been following our Scotland series, you'll know that we started by picking up Tammy down in Glasgow, and we have worked our way up the main part of Scotland to Inverness, and we will now work our way all the way up to the top of the island and around to the western side. As we mentioned, Invergordon is the seaport for Inverness and is not very far from the city, so this wasn't a large number of miles crossed, just a beautiful area. The actual port of Invergordon is relatively small, but there are some basic necessities here, and it's not terribly hard to get around from the port. You'll be happy to know there are toilets right at the port, as well as a gift shop and lots of free information for visitors. Maneuvering through the port is really easy. It's a relatively small port. You can do everything by foot. It's not terribly crowded. It will be more crowded, obviously, at the very beginning of the day as buses and so forth are coming up. If you are just wanting to get out on your own, this is really an easy port to access. If you haven't already secured an outing, tourist information can help with that. But this is also an easy place for guides to come meet you. If you schedule something independently, this is just an easy port for pickup and drop off. We saw lots of independent guides, met some really wonderful people. Our friend Justin with Share the Tea Travel is a guide for Invergordon, and we cannot recommend him highly enough for a private guided tour that focuses on exactly what you want at really affordable rates. We keep telling him he needs to raise his rates, but as of now, it's the deal of the century. We also met the kilted tour guide. He was kind of fun. We saw him a number of places around the area. But one of the things that you are right in the middle of is the Cromarty Firth and the Black Isle. The Black Isle is not really an island. It is just a bit of a peninsula that sticks out. It's full of charming villages and super water views. You'll likely see dolphins and that sort of thing in the area. And then the Cromarty Firth is just a little further north, a little closer to the open water. And again, it has just beautiful views of this rural area, lots of green and lots of wildlife and some pretty cliff edges along the shorelines.
Along the street, how far you drifted away from.
On our return trip to Invergordon, as we mentioned, we did some driving around and saw lots. I hope you've watched our visit on Kincraig Castle and the Clavacairns and the Culloden battlefield. But afterwards, at the end of the day, we ended up driving out across the bridges connecting Inverness and Invergordon and heading up the winding path to Kincraig Castle. So Kincraig Castle is a historic building that now houses a hotel. And as is true with most of these old country manor houses, they just couldn't survive as manor houses anymore, as the expense to keep them up, just in maintenance, but also in modernization, is just too much. So you see a lot of them as museums, or in this case, a really beautiful hotel. Our friend Tammy had joined us on this trip, and she was dead set that she wanted to be able to stay in a castle. And this was in the affordable range of castles. It's directly on the NC 500, and it was in a lovely setting just outside the center of Invergordon. We were really fortunate with our weather, so upon arrival, we got our stuff settled and went outside and took advantage of the grounds of this castle hotel. They sit on 10 acres, and it's just in the middle of this lush, beautiful backdrop. These plastic bubbles almost made us wish for rain. Would that not be so much fun to sit out in the rain with a whiskey and just watch those views? But we had gorgeous weather, and so we took advantage of being outside, and we still had whiskeys and beers, and we still took in the views. We just didn't do it from a plastic bubble. At the entrance to the hotel, there's a small check-in area, but you're immediately met with tartan carpets, paneled walls, sumptuous furniture, rich woods, and signs of an old hunting lodge. This main room is a gathering space, and we often found other guests in here. It is also offering access upstairs to the guest rooms, and from the foyer, you enter this central hub of the hotel. It really is what anchors the entire first floor. Whether you're coming from the restaurant, or down the stairs, or from the bar, this room is also your conduit to the outdoor grounds. At the front end of the great room is the bar where I found Tammy doing a tasting.
She's doing tastings. I'm letting her choose for me.
Oh, of course you are. I stuck with a local beer that came in a big bottle. We headed to dinner and talked to you about our meals. This is that salad I was describing. I could not get enough of that dressing. There are nods to the Highland life throughout the hotel. Our room was in one of the towers, which made it really special. It was more like a suite. We had a king-size bed, 2 easy chairs, as well as additional chairs and a table in the little corner alcove. As you enter the main bedroom, there is windows that open and look out on this incredible view below, including the patio. There is a small sitting area in the turret of our room. Full screen TV, working fireplace, tea kettle, lush linens on that king-size bed with the tartan accents, an armoire and desk, and then this additional sitting area over the window. It is just a lovely room. We had a deluxe castle room, which included a full shower, as well as an oversized bathtub, sink and loo, and a beautiful window overlooking the parking area. Everything is very tastefully decorated. We entered in through a foyer. The bathroom was to the right and the main room straight ahead. After an amazing meal, a restful night, and a long soak in that tub, we headed back out on the NC 500. At this point in our journey, the road is full of rural landscapes, big skies, and water views. Enjoy this footage as we make our way up the coastline, cross over the bridges, and get the views on our way to Brora.
Sure, playful and free, without a care in the world. I was one rich little girl, daydreamer, kidnap me, take me back, all the way back to them days, running around in a gown and a crown, barefoot. No mistake ever kept me late. We spent summers catching fireflies and winters on our skates. One big smile across my face. We used to dance our way to church on Sundays. Mama set the pace. Daydreamer, kidnap me, take me back, all the way back to them days, running around in a gown and a crown, barefoot.
Where do we go from here?
We're heading, so now we sort of make the turn and we'll head up the coast and start getting into that upper panhandle, if you will, of Scotland. We'll head towards Brora, and we have kind of a fun stay in Brora on a farm.
And the scenery is getting a little more rugged as we go on. You'll see that.
Yeah, a little more rugged as we go on.
Thanks for joining us.
So we'll see you in Brora. It is
We're on
the
a cruise. Go ahead.
It is the. It is the.
But the second time we went to
Invergordon.
And we had left the town where it's spent the night in
In Inverness.
Inverness.
So the last.
Then the next day we went to, or the same day. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure you were there.
Well, we drove to Invergordon in our Tesla. You enjoyed haggis burger.
No, that was not here.
Haggis and
No.
venison.
Nope.
No?
Nope. That was in.
You sure?
Fort
I thought we
William.
brought the chef out. And
That was Ben Nevis. And we'll head towards. We'll head towards Wick first, but first we'll stop in.